What's up, guys? Before I jump into it, my friends over at G Fuel ended up bumping up code ESPRESSO to 30% off, not only in celebration for the holidays, but also in celebration of Season 1 for Black Ops Cold War and Warzone. If you guys want to restock or try something out for the very first time, be sure to use code ESPRESSO. If you're interested, links in the description below. So, while Black Ops Cold War's inaugural season here introduced us to a lot of content in the way of Black Ops Cold War and Warzone, Modern Warfare actually shifted slightly as well. This update brought some of the fundamentals in line with what we see now in Black Ops Cold War and Warzone, and we even saw some of the fundamental fabrics of even the game launchers being rebranded as Warzone. But while this effort to move towards something new and kind of phasing out Modern Warfare on the front-facing side, the game doesn't quite seem to be done just yet, and there looks to be even more content coming maybe in the near future here. But as for when, that's the big question mark, and that's what we're gonna run down here today. The new operators, the new weapons, the new maps that you can expect to see sometime in the near future within Modern Warfare. So as we go along, let me know your thoughts down below. Are you looking forward to anything in particular here within Modern Warfare and then subsequently Warzone? Any new weapons? Are you looking forward to what is SOAP going to be introduced within Modern Warfare? Whatever it is, let me know your thoughts. As well, if you are new to the channel, do be sure to hit the subscribe button. We're on that road to 400,000 subscribers, and we'll keep you up to date with all things Black Ops Cold War, Warzone, and even Modern Warfare where applicable. So if you'd like to join the community, I'd love to have you. And finally, if you ever use support a creator code ESPRESSO in the in-game store, feel free to tweet me a picture. I'd love to shout out some of your generous support in upcoming videos. That said, let's talk about this new content here that we have on the horizon for Modern Warfare. So Modern Warfare has changed as of this past week when it came to some of the fundamentals. The original system that we had in place for Modern Warfare for, say, ranking was removed and replaced with a new seasonal prestige system. The seasonal emblems were replaced with seasonal calling card challenges and that ability to gain new emblems as you went along that reflected on your rank. Fundamentally, there was also another change in which Modern Warfare multiplayer progression could even rank up your battle pass for Warzone and Cold War, but with minimal rewards seen actually in Modern Warfare unless it was tethered to Warzone. So you have these things shifting that allows for life to continue if you play Modern Warfare and things can go on as normal, but there's no real rewards for playing. You get these fundamental building blocks, but nothing to incentivize you to play, or at least right now. As the title of this video will reflect, and of course this discussion will as well, there's content that is still coming here on the horizon, but not in the sense of how we traditionally saw it within Modern Warfare, so I wouldn't be expecting a Season 7 at this point. Seasons as we knew them in Modern Warfare aren't going to really work the same because we of course have those base building blocks for the game that Cold War and Warzone have going forward. Modern Warfare has those same in some capacity with content drop periods and the battle pass that we still see continue on with this new year, but none of the content is for Modern Warfare, meaning that a Season 7 in and of itself is all but impossible. But that doesn't mean that content won't be coming, and in fact, it's quite the opposite. It's going to be coming in a format that is probably just unlike what we are used to in this last year, and instead may just be content dropped either intermittently or in one large sort of content dump. The first of which, though, that we can talk about is, of course, some operators, and the first one being a fan favorite of SOAP McTavish. If you haven't seen it yet, we detailed the full thing on the channel yesterday in a video, but I think it turned out to be an awesome introduction to the narrative of the storyline of Modern Warfare and Warzone. But we got this cutscene that detailed the air quote nuke event in Modern Warfare and Warzone that unfortunately didn't cap off how we thought it would. Many, including myself, probably let that excitement of the what if factor cloud that realistic judgment of what these intel missions really meant as time progressed. But we ended up seeing that there was a push towards a nuke launch, but Price and the rest of 141 were able to stop the launch and eliminate Zakhaev before another global war broke out. But at the end of this cutscene, Price radioed to the one and only SOAP McTavish, who was off the coast of Verdansk, thus fully confirming his existence. Now, if you needed more, he actually was recently data mined and found in the game files for the game in a full and complete manner for the first time, whereas beforehand, we'd only seen teasers via like execution name files, audio files, and texture assets, but he's actually there in a full and complete build. There's another operator as well that has been apparently data mined named Shane Sparks, but nothing is really known about that, so just kind of knowing that there's another operator coming at some point. We also saw that there were weapons data mined and even leaked in-game that you could see for yourself, and I think still can even, but we had things like the CX-9 and the Psychov pistol ended up being data mined a couple of weeks back now. At this point, they've been known about for quite some time, but as of recently, with this update that went live for Modern Warfare, we actually saw that these are in the barracks and your combat record in Modern Warfare MP, where you can take a look at, and they're actually there. Now, Now, the CX-9 reminds me of the MAC-10 in terms of the fire rate, but in sort of the Scorpion from Black Ops 2's body. So a little bit of a hybrid weapon there with that one. There actually was a challenge that was leaked here for this as well, where we're likely going to see this available in the shop at some point for Modern Warfare when this is introduced. But if you want to unlock it organically, there's the challenge of getting 2 long shot kills while using an SMG in 5 different matches. The Sykov pistol is the Makarov from other games, and apparently the weird part about this is it can go fully automatic, but also has the attachments of an 80-round magazine. So that'll be interesting to see, a pistol with more rounds of ammunition than things like most rifles and LMGs even. So that'll be interesting to see all that come about. But there was also a challenge leaked for this where it was get 4 kills while using a pistol in 5 different matches. Now, what's interesting is that these challenges were seen in the game, but they weren't meant to be there. And Raven actually clarified yesterday in a tweet saying that they cleaned up some of the UI in which that stuff that wasn't meant to be seen was then pulled. So kind of confirming that those are coming again if you had any doubts with that one. But also data mined, there was the RAL or RAAL machine gun, which not much is really known about this one here. There is just simply forced into a game environment footage of this from data miner BK Tor. And this to me looks like kind of a version of the M91, a bulkier and slower firing LMG. But it does have a ton of kicks, so it absolutely can be something that's worthwhile. And then on the map side of things, we ended up seeing from the data miner, nameless and reported on by the Ghost of MW2 we've talked about here on the channel beforehand, 2 new maps that look to be coming as well, in which we have Al Rob Air Base, which reminds me a little bit of Quarry from Modern Warfare 2 in the rocky desert aesthetic, but also having hangars and buildings that come along naturally with an airbase. And then Drainage looks to be a map that is a concrete underpass set at the bottom of what looks like maybe a dam of some sort or a reservoir, but it is something that is a little bit more urban and concrete in nature, but 2 maps that look to be coming as well. And interestingly, we've talked about how there are maps that were seemingly cut and never made it to the public version of the game, all the way from back before Modern Warfare actually launched, that were data mined, but neither of these actually were a part of that. So interesting that those ones that still never came to the game look to actually just be cut or maybe just concept pieces. But the big question mark now comes down to, well, when is this going to happen? When is this going to launch? And honestly, that is a very valid question that unfortunately I don't think anybody has any real answer to. The sort of default that I go to when trying to figure these things out is that rule of 2 that we've talked about here on the channel. If you've been around long enough, you know that we follow this almost to a T, because Activision loves to keep 2-week windows in intervals between releases and marketing material. So if we had Season 1 launch here this past week, that means that this upcoming Wednesday will actually be that 1-week out mark, and then the week following that next Wednesday is that 2-week mark. So that would bring us then to December 30th, and then potentially the first time we see another major content drop happen of some sorts. Now, that's to say that Black Ops Cold War doesn't get something on that day, but maybe that's when Modern Warfare drops this content. Unfortunately, just amidst everything that we saw happen with this Season 1 integration and everything drop between Black Ops Cold War and Warzone, we haven't had anything really discussed about in an official capacity on Modern Warfare's side. Everything's just been Cold War, Warzone, Cold War, Warzone, hammered to us in the official marketing. So this kind of stuff doesn't really even have any teasers just yet, but it is something that I think you should definitely be aware of, or at the very least should care a little bit about, because if you're not into Modern Warfare's MP, which totally fine. I was never really into it also in the main year of support, but it's important because those will be new operators and weapons that are also introduced into Warzone if you play that, a game that is still being updated on a regular basis here and going on in the forefront of Call of Duty for another year to come. But these things, like these new weapons, are going to be introduced into Modern Warfare, but also then usable in Warzone as well. So would they be weapons that you absolutely will need to take advantage of that will break the meta? Well, who knows? I think a meta is still yet to be settled on, with 30 new weapons being added in from Cold War, and even after that, in Modern Warfare's main year of support, very few weapons actually broke the meta that were introduced in later seasons, but it is possible that it could happen. So this content looks to be coming here, in which we have, again, 2 new operators, 3 new weapons, 2 new MP maps. It's just a matter of when and what you should be looking out for, because again, maybe you care more about those weapons, maybe you just want to use SOAP in Warzone, but that stuff will be coming here with it. But that's where we're at here with this, and I want to just recap this here real quickly for you guys here, because amidst everything that has been happening in terms of Cold War and Warzone, we didn't really get all that much time to talk about these leaks and these new items that will be coming hopefully very soon. That's where we're going to wrap it up. I would love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. What do you guys think here of this? Are you guys looking forward to these new weapons potentially? Are you looking forward to SOAP being introduced into Modern Warfare and Warzone? Whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts down below. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing. We're doing all things Black Ops Cold War, Warzone, and even Modern Warfare where there is a little bit of content to talk about. So if you're interested in any of that, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. If you also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected outside of YouTube. Probably live on both those. If you guys want to check up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. That said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.